Salam! Phoenix Ramadan L. Jackson, back in the light of our Brazeera Cyber Network. In this program, we are going to talk about what appears to be the policy of the Sabudian regime. This is a conclusion Americans are to draw based upon the speech Bam Bam Obama gave West Point cadets May 28, 2014. While listening to that attempt to brainwash his speech, he tried to get America to consent to war, and more war on the world in order to steal the living trust of every living being in the world. Despite trust is what united the 13 colonies to become the American Republic in the first place. And while many may have, and while it may have not been extended, and while land trust may have not been extended to all, it was a trust that recognized the existence of Allah, God, the free will of man, the equality of man, every man was created equal, and the inalienable rights of man, some of which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay? Yeah. They also recognize that there was no market on earth that had power to control the free will of man. That power over man belonged to Allah, God himself. They had a policy of surrender to Allah, God, that which belongs to Allah, God, and surrender to Caesar, that which belongs to Caesar. The Founding Fathers recognized and adopted these biblical principles, this biblical perspective. This was to be the policy for the newly formed republic. America was founded, but what was not publicized was the principles that was adopted from the Holy Quran. And those were life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as well as the structure of the architectural structure, the dome that covers the Capitol Hill. All is testimony to the reverence the Founding Fathers had and shared for the superiority of Allah, God, over his creation, life. Now, while they may have had temporary legal custodialship over the land, they knew they could not dictate the free will of control over the free will of man. So they maintained the separation between commerce, the practice of commerce, and the activities or the life of man, from the market. They recognized the separation between church and state and the free will of man, the religious free will of man. This practice of government was limited in scope, yet it was remarkable in a colonialized world, whereby, the physical occupation of man, such as Palestine is today, and today the rest of the world is controlled by, occupied by what? Neocolonialism. That's the new paradigm. In the past, the paradigm was physical occupation. Today, and it's still physical occupation of Palestine, but today it's neocolonial. The paradigm is neocolonialism, occupation by the Federal Reserve banking system. And that includes Palestine as well. It's got double occupation. Paradigm going on the physical occupation, colonialization, and neocolonialization. They get the double whammy. Okay, they get the double axe of Thor. They get the double axe of Thor's Federal Reserve banking system, the hammer of Thor's Federal Reserve banking system. Okay, they get the whammy of that. So yeah, okay. So okay, now so the whole world is controlled by the Federal Reserve banking system under what is a living trust, the birth certificate system, and that is owned and operated by the Vatican. The Vatican controls the free will of those in bondage, okay? Those who hold the bond, okay? The living trust bond, okay? Now, so we the people of the world are to place our living trust, our free will to be dictated to. We are to follow the will of the Vatican, no matter what religion you are. If you got a birth certificate, it's negated. Your religious orientation is negated. It is yeah, it's negated. Okay, because you have to follow the will of the commercial will of the commercial statutes of the Federal Reserve, as dictated by the Federal Reserve. Okay, because they're the ones who hold the bonds, the free will. Okay, now, so we're to follow their example. Life in the neo-colonial paradigm is to be a religious game of follow the Vatican leaders, whatever their will is. Okay, and their will is what? The Dome of the Rock. Their will is capture of the Dome of the Rock. War for the Dome of the Rock, and we see how that is taking place. Okay. Okay. So after 1933, because after 1933, market trust or land trust was redefined as corporate trust, because all the natural resources have been retrieved from the land. Okay, and become liquidated. The land has become liquidated. The timber, the diamond mines, the gold mines, the copper, all those things have been mined out of the earth and liquidated. So now we have what? We have corporate power. We have corporate trust. Okay, where they hold all the wealth. The land, the earth doesn't hold the wealth anymore. It's the corporations do. Okay, so now we have corporate trust. They hold the power, and the corporate trust is what? Dictated by commercial codes, UCC codes, and they're dictated by what? The Vatican. Okay, that controls commerce all around the world. Okay, so as well as the birth certificate, those held in bondage who worked for the corporations. Okay, so okay, so now we have corporate trust. There's no more land trust because they can't do the manufacturing, the industrial and manufacturing and all that. Okay, because the resources are limited now. Okay, so now we got the corporations all in the control of the almighty dollar, the almighty currency. Okay, so now we have what? The currency war. It's the strongest currency. The strongest corporations have the strongest currency, because what we said, America has no strong corporations, right? Because after 1933, right? There was no more land trust, bankruptcy, and the crash of the stock market. Okay, and the reinstitution of a new trust, a new contract with Americans. Become living trust. Okay, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so after 1933, market trust became, or land trust, market trust, commercial, became corporate trust. Okay, and manhood became liquidated through the birth certificate, became incorporated, and became adopted, became controlled by commercial trust. Okay, he began to, his life became orchestrated by commercial trust. Okay, a commercial trust became an economic class system. Okay, and each class had its own what? Its own its own its own its own its own conduct. Okay, its own belief system. There we go. Yeah. Okay. 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 So now, making central government, okay, a body of commercial dictators, robbing the employees, the citizens, those held in bondage, okay, the working class, the working people, um, robbing them to pay the debt, okay, by usurping their life force, okay, to serve in the commercial market for 30 and 40 and 50, 30 and 40 years. And now, when it comes to retirement, there is no retirement. You see the elderly working and standing in front of the doors welcoming people to Walmart, okay, after they served in the commercial market, for 30 years. Now they're standing on their feet at Walmart, okay? Being usurped of more manpower or female power, okay? Life source, okay? So it's to pay the debt, continue to pay the debt, okay? Okay. Occurred by whom? By corporations, okay? Up to the borrowing from the Federal Reserve, okay? Just to make sure that's correct thinking, proper thinking, okay? Okay, yeah, it's borrowing from the Federal Reserve, because now what, the corporations, collective corporations, corporate power, is owned and operated by what? The Federal Reserve too, okay? Okay. Yeah, consolidated power. Consolidated corporate power. Corporate power. Anyway, anyway, okay, so, now the employees are robbed to pay the debt, okay, through the bank birth certificate, held in bondage, okay, and their free will is removed, okay, and removed through what, their free will is removed through policies that are adopted, they're dictated by the Federal Reserve, or the Vatican basically, to be instituted over the people through a voting system. The people are to vote on the laws that are to be enacted upon them. Okay? They're to vote upon the people are to vote upon laws that are enacted upon them by the Federal Reserve, which is owned by the Vatican. So the Vatican is placing laws that are good for them, that the people are to vote upon. And it's like someone told me some time ago, when you give an option, make those options, all the options that you give someone should be good for you. So the Vatican is giving, constructing statutes, that commercial codes, commercial statutes that are to be beneficial for them, the trustees of the bonds, okay, those held in bondage are to vote on the laws that go against those, that go against them, that go against themselves, those held themselves, who are held in bondage. Okay? They're to vote on laws that keep them in bondage. That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of backwards. Okay? And which gives the impression that they're free. those held in bondage are free because they get to vote on the laws, vote on accepting the laws that are used to keep them in bondage and in servitude. Okay? Okay. And more of their freedom is usurped through the bond. Okay. So okay, so they're to pay the debt to those cooperating, okay, in the corporate state, okay, because it's a corporate world, right? In the corporate trust, right? Okay, because the world is constructed based upon corporate trust. So now we're in a corporate state, okay? Because everything in life is organized around the corporate structure, okay? In the matter of life is organized around the corporate structure. So therefore, everyone is living a corporatized life, and the world is corporatized, okay? And the head of that corporation is what? The Vatican, under the what? The Federal Reserve System. Okay, so and those held in bondage, while held in bondage, they are to be paying debt while being robbed. They are to be simultaneously used as a killing machine for the advancement of the market, for the grandizement of the corporate market. Okay. Or the corporate trust. Or the corporate trustees, not the corporate trust, but the corporate trustees, okay, at the behest of they're to be used as a killing machine at the behest of the corporate, the corporate trustees, those who are holding all the trust, and those sitting over the trust, the wealth, okay, which is to be utilized for the will of, was supposed to be utilized for the will of the people, those held in bondage, but that's part of the deception. Okay, so, okay, and who would they be killing? They'd be killing themselves, the people, those who held those who are held in bondage, those who are perceived as collateral in the bank. That's what the bond is. It makes the person a collateral. Okay, and the corporation is a person, and the person is a person because they are certified. They're held in bondage. Okay, they're held as a bond. They reflect a bond. Their like free will has been bonded to do the will of others. Okay, to do the will of the market, those in control of the market. Okay, so we said after 1933, the market trust, or the market trust after 1933 is no longer the same. It's no longer a land trust. It's a corporate trust. And everyone has been corporatized through the birth certificate system. Thus, okay, what's that? Okay, okay, okay. So we said it's not the same. It's separate, but not equal. Okay, they're separate, but not they're separate and not equal. So the market before the land trust and the corporate trust are separate and they're not equal as it relates to how it affects the life of man. Okay, one recognizes the free will of man. One usurps the free will of the other. Usurps the free will of man. The corporate trust usurps the will of man. Land trust recognizes the superiority of man over the market. Corporate trust sees it as one and the same. Whereby the corporation is the parent company, and it has the control over the subsidiaries, which are the people who have been corporatized through the birth certificate system and have become bonded and bonded. They have become bonded, held in bondage. They're become they become life force that has been bonded. Their life has been bonded by the bank to do the bidding of the bank, and those bonds have been are to be used to do the bidding of the bank. Okay. So as we said, being converted from a land trust to a living trust. Okay. And the living trust is controlled by the corporate trust. As part of the corporate trust. Okay. As part of the collateral of the corporate trust. Okay. Now, okay. So people, so it's like it's what does it say? Supported by. Okay. Oh, the living trusts are what? The living trusts. What does it say? The living trusts are okay. The living trusts are what? The dollars. The dollars are based upon the wait no. Okay, so the living trust, our living trust, we as living trust, the birth certificates are what support the dollar system, or not the dollar system, but the American currency, the strength of the American currency, the value of the American currency. Okay, and it's to be supported by the collective living trust. The value of the dollar is to be supported by the collective living trust, by all of the by the collective living trust. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Now, so under the old contract with American citizens, the employees remained autonomous. They were we're going to go to video 2.